All right, diving into the world of health apps today, specifically Samsung Health and Apple Health, two of the big ones. We've got a ton of articles and analyses you guys have sent us, so let's break it all down and help you figure out, which of these apps might be the best fit for you.
Yeah. It is really interesting how these apps, they're really battling it out for that prime real estate on your phone to become your go-to for all things health and fitness. But they have some pretty different ways of going about it.
And right from the start, one of the things that really stands out from all this research
Yeah.
is how those differences show up and how you actually use the app, right?
Totally, yeah. So if you're all about a clean, like minimalist look,
Yep.
you'll probably find Apple Health really appealing. It gives you all the key stats right up front and uses those, color-coded graphs and those rings to make it easy to see your progress. It's almost like a well-curated, like a gallery of your health highlights.
Right. Whereas Samsung Health is still visually appealing, but it's like they went with a more is more approach.
Yeah. Exactly. It's got just a ton of data and features packed in there.
Yeah.
Samsung Health is like a bustling market full of all kinds of stuff. Great if you love to explore and really dig into the numbers, but it might take you a bit longer to find what you're looking for.
I see. So right away, we see that contrast
Right.
between a sort of streamlined overview versus a really in-depth look at the data. Now, how does that play out when we get to, the core fitness tracking features?
So when you look at the basic stuff like steps, distance, active minutes, all those calories you're burning,
Hmm.
both apps are really strong. And they both track a wide range of workouts too. Running, swimming, yoga, strength training, you name it.
Okay, but they go about motivating you to hit your goals pretty differently.
Yeah, for sure. Apple Health uses those, really visually engaging rings, move, exercise, and stand. And they encourage you to close all three every day. Kind of a gamified approach plays into that, that desire to complete things.
Right.
And you can really see your progress visually on.
And Samsung Health, on the other hand, puts a lot of focus on hitting those daily step goals. They even tap into that social side of things with built-in challenges and competitions.
Yeah, it's like you can compete with friends or even people around the world. It's cool how those little design choices can really affect how we act.
Absolutely.
I mean, are you motivated by closing those rings? Or do you thrive on that, the competition aspect? Those are the kinds of things to think about when you're picking your health app.
That's a good point. So both apps do a good job tracking actual workouts.
Hmm.
But what about just everyday activity? Do they track that too?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Both apps have gotten really good at automatic workout detection. So you start walking, running, or cycling, and they'll pick up on it and start tracking, even if you forget to start a workout manually.
That's so handy.
Yeah.
Takes the pressure off having to remember to track everything yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit now. Let's talk about something a little closer to our hearts. Literally heart rate monitoring.
Right, right. This is where things get really interesting. So both apps can track your heart rate throughout the entire day and even send you alerts if it's super high or low, which is incredibly helpful for people with heart conditions or anyone who's just keeping an eye on their heart health.
Speaking of heart health, I know both Apple and Samsung have added ECG features to their newer watches too.
You're right. You can actually take an electrocardiogram right there on your wrist and get some really good insights into your heart rhythm. Important to note, though, these readings are not a substitute for a professional diagnosis, but they can help you monitor your heart health. And you can even share the data with your doctor.
So it's like a mini heart checkup right there on your wrist. But I've read that Samsung Health takes it a step further with their heart health features.
Yeah, they really have. Samsung has put a lot of focus on stress management. Their app uses heart rate variability to figure out your stress score, and they even offer guided breathing exercises to help you chill out.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like having a little relaxation coach right there in your pocket.
So if you're someone who struggles with stress, that could be a real game changer.
Oh, for sure. Oh, and one more big difference on the heart health front. Samsung Health can actually estimate your blood pressure. You have to have a compatible Galaxy Watch, though. Now, it's not a replacement for a traditional cuff, but it can give you some good insights, especially if you need to keep tabs on your blood pressure regularly. Apple Health doesn't have that feature yet.
Okay, so we've covered activity tracking and heart health. But there's another crucial part of overall well-being: sleep. How do these apps handle sleep tracking?
Both platforms are pretty good at tracking how long and how well you sleep. They use the motion sensors in your phone or smartwatch to guess what stage of sleep you're in: light, deep, REM sleep. It can help you spot patterns and potential problems, like if you're waking up a lot during the night.
So they don't just track your sleep, you try to help you improve it too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Apple Health breaks down your sleep stages in a simple but really useful visual way so you can see how much time you spend in each stage and maybe pinpoint where you could improve. Samsung, well, true to form, they go a bit deeper.
What kind of extra info does Samsung Health give you?
Well, it can actually pick up on snoring and track changes in your blood oxygen levels throughout the night, which can be signs of sleep apnea or other sleep disorders.
Wow, so it's like a mini sleep lab right on your wrist. Does it tell you if your partner is the one snoring?
Huh. Sadly, no. The technology isn't that good yet. But it can give you some really helpful info about your sleep patterns.
So what's the bottom line on sleep tracking?
Hmm.
Is one app clearly the winner?
I think it really boils down to what you need and prefer. If you want a simple and visual overview, Apple Health might be the way to go. But if you want a more in-depth analysis and maybe some insights into sleep disorders, Samsung Health with those extra features might be more appealing.
So it's all about picking the right tool for the job, or the right app for your sleep, I guess. We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still so much more to explore. When we come back for part 2 of our deep dive, we'll uncover those unique features that really make these apps stand out. And we're back, digging even deeper into Samsung Health and Apple Health, exploring all those unique features that really give each platform its own personality.
Yeah, like unearthing those hidden gems, those little bonuses that might just tip the scales for you.
Okay, so let's start with Samsung Health. What are some of the things that make it stand out?
Well, Samsung Health really excels when it comes to personalized guidance. They have a bunch of coaching programs to help you reach your goals, whether you want to run a marathon or sleep better or just manage stress.
It's like having a virtual wellness coach in your pocket. What kind of programs do they offer?
Well, there are guided workout videos for all levels, from beginner all the way up to advanced. They even partner with popular meditation apps like Calm to offer guided mindfulness sessions. And let's not forget about their personalized sleep coaching. It takes your sleep data and creates a tailored plan to help you improve your sleep quality.
So it's not just about tracking data. It's about giving you those insights and guidance to help you make real changes.
Exactly. Samsung Health is all about empowering you to take control of your well-being.
Now, what about nutrition tracking? That's a big part of a lot of people's health journeys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Samsung Health has a built-in nutrition tracker, so you can log your meals and watch your calorie intake. They've even got barcode scanning, so you can log food super easily. Saves a ton of time.
Like a digital food diary right on your phone. Does Apple Health have anything similar?
Apple Health takes a different approach. They rely on third-party apps for the detailed nutrition tracking. So if you like apps like MyFitnessPal or Lose It, you can sync those right up with Apple Health. But if you prefer to keep everything in one place, Samsung Health's built-in tracker might be better.
Interesting how these platforms have such different philosophies
Yeah.
about data and integrations.
Yeah, it is. And speaking of integrations, there's another area where Samsung Health shines. It can connect with a bunch of different smart home
Oh,
devices.
really? How does that work?
Picture this. You step on your Samsung Smart Scale in the morning, and your weight gets logged automatically in Samsung Health. Then you head to the kitchen and use your Samsung Smart Fridge to plan your meals. And all the nutritional info gets synced straight to the app.
That's pretty cool. It's like a whole connected health ecosystem.
Exactly. Samsung is really using its Ranger products to create a more seamless experience.
So Samsung Health seems to be great for personalization, guidance, and smart home integration. But what about Apple Health? What are some of its unique strengths?
Apple Health might not be as flashy as Samsung Health, but it's really good at providing subtle insights. One of the best features is their trends analysis, which gives you a long-term view of your data. You can see patterns and identify areas where you're making progress or need to focus more.
Like having a health detective on your side.
Exactly. And speaking of clues, Apple Health can also show you how different data points relate to each other. For instance, it might notice that you sleep better on days you exercise more, or that your resting heart rate is lower when you've been meditating.
So it's not just about tracking individual metrics. It's about understanding how they all fit together to give you a complete picture of your health.
Exactly. And when it comes to sharing that bigger picture with others, Apple Health is really good. You can easily share your data with family or caregivers or even your doctor.
That's super valuable, especially for people managing chronic conditions or taking care of older family members.
Absolutely. And don't forget Apple's commitment to medical research. Their Research Kit and Care Kit frameworks are changing how we do studies and allow users to contribute their data to advance scientific discoveries.
That's amazing to think that our everyday health data could be used to help find cures for diseases or develop new treatments.
It really is. And it shows the potential of these platforms to totally change healthcare as we know it.
Okay, so we've explored the strengths of both platforms.
Mm.
But like you said before, no tech is perfect.
Yeah.
We need to talk about the limitations too, the downsides that might make one app a better fit for you than the other.
Absolutely. No app can be everything to everyone, and understanding those limitations can help you make a smarter choice.
Okay, so let's start with Apple Health. What are some things to watch out for?
Well, the biggest one is that it only works with Apple devices. If you don't have an iPhone or Apple Watch, you're out of luck.
That's a deal breaker for a lot of people.
It is. And even within the Apple ecosystem, there are some drawbacks. For a lot of the advanced features like ECG and blood pressure monitoring, you need an Apple Watch. So it's not just about having an iPhone. You have to buy into the whole ecosystem.
It's like a walled garden. What about the app itself? Any limitations or quirks to be aware of?
Some people find that there's just too much data in Apple Health. It can feel overwhelming, especially if you're new to tracking your health, or if you prefer things to be more streamlined.
Like drinking from a fire hose of health data.
Exactly. And while Apple is great at collecting and analyzing data, they don't offer much in the way of personalized guidance or coaching. You're kind of left to figure out the data on your own.
So it's good for data lovers who like to dive deep,
Yeah,
but maybe not as helpful for people who want more guidance.
that's a good point. And remember that Apple relies on other apps for things like detailed nutrition tracking. That's convenient if you already use those apps, but it also means juggling multiple apps
Yeah.
and potentially dealing with syncing problems.
So it's a trade-off between flexibility and having a unified experience.
Exactly. Now let's talk about Samsung Health. What are some of its limitations?
One thing that stands out is that it doesn't have much support for third-party apps. It seems like they're going with a more closed approach, focusing on their own devices and services.
Yeah, that's right. And that can be a big problem for people who use other platforms or who like to mix and match their tech. If you have a fitness tracker or smartwatch that Samsung Health doesn't support, you're out of luck.
So if you're a fan of open ecosystems and seamless integrations, Samsung Health might not be the best choice. What about its availability on iOS? We know the app is there, but does it offer the full Samsung Health experience?
Sadly, no. iPhone users can download the Samsung Health app, but they don't get all the features. A lot of the advanced stuff like ECG, blood pressure monitoring, and body composition analysis, those are only available on Samsung Galaxy devices.
It's like they're teasing you with the app, but then holding back some of the good stuff. What about the user interface? I've seen some mixed reviews about the design and how easy it is to use.
Some people find Samsung Health's interface a bit cluttered, especially when you add more trackers and data sources. It can be hard to navigate, and there's a lot of scrolling. It doesn't have that clean and intuitive design that Apple's known for.
Sounds like they could use a little bit of that Apple design magic.
Yeah.
Have there been any issues reported with data syncing or consistency,
Yeah.
especially when using multiple devices?
Yeah, some people have had problems with syncing, especially when switching between devices or trying to combine data from different sources. It's not super common, but it's something to keep in mind, especially when you're dealing with sensitive health information.
So data reliability is something to consider. It seems like both platforms have their pros and cons. It's all about trade-offs.
That's right. And as these platforms continue to change and improve, those trade-offs are going to shift too. There will be new features, old problems might get fixed, and the whole landscape of health apps will keep transforming.
It's definitely an exciting time to be into health tech, with all these amazing tools at our fingertips. But it's important to be smart about it, to understand the details of these platforms, and pick the one that really fits your needs and values.
That's a great way to put it. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's important to remember the bigger picture. These apps aren't just fitness trackers anymore. They're gateways to our personal health data.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. These apps are collecting a ton of information about our bodies and our lives, which brings up some big questions about privacy and security and the potential impact on healthcare and society as a whole.
And that's exactly where we'll pick up when we come back for the final part of our deep dive.
We're back for the final part of our deep dive into Samsung Health and Apple Health. We've looked at all the features, the good stuff, the not so good stuff, but now we got to talk about the bigger picture. These apps, they're not just fitness trackers anymore. They're like gateways to our personal health data.
Right, and that brings up some really important questions about how that data is being used, how it's protected. I mean, think about it. We're trusting these companies with some super sensitive info. Our heart rates, our sleep patterns, even stuff like menstrual cycles.
Yeah, it's a lot of trust. So let's talk about data privacy first. How are Samsung and Apple handling the security of all that health info?
Well, both companies say they prioritize data security, but
Mhm.
their methods kind of reflect their overall approach. Apple, they're all about user privacy, and they have a really strict stance. They use encryption to protect your data, both on your device and when it's sent to their servers.
Apple has even made that a big part of their marketing, emphasizing that they don't sell user data and that what happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone.
Exactly. And their privacy policy is very clear. They say they don't use your health data for anything other than making your experience in the app better. They've really built a reputation for protecting user data.
So with Apple, it seems like you're getting a really high level of privacy.
Mm.
What about Samsung? How do they handle things?
Samsung also uses encryption, but their privacy policy gives them a little more wiggle room in how they can use that data. For instance, they might use de-identified data to improve their services or for research purposes.
So it's not as locked down as Apple. It seems like there's a trade-off there
Mm-hmm.
between data privacy and the potential benefits of sharing that data for research or to make things better.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. It really comes down to your own comfort level. Some people are okay with sharing their data if it means it could help with scientific discoveries or making products and services better.
Yeah, it's a tough question, no easy answers. And it's not just about the companies themselves either. We also need to think about governments and regulators and how they're protecting our health
Oh,
data.
absolutely. As this technology keeps getting more advanced, we need strong rules and safeguards in place to make sure our health information is used responsibly and ethically.
It's a good reminder that technology changes so fast, and the rules are still being figured out. We need to stay informed and participate in these conversations so we can shape the future of digital health in a way that works for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And here's something else to think about. As these platforms get more and more sophisticated, they could play a much bigger role in healthcare. Imagine your health app sharing data directly with your doctor, allowing for more personalized and proactive care.
Wow, that would be incredible. It
Oh,
could totally change how we manage our health. But it also raises some worries about data security. And what if that data is misused?
for sure, those are valid concerns. We have to think carefully about the implications of giving these platforms even more access to our health info. Who gets to see that data? How will it be used? These are questions we need to be asking as this technology keeps advancing.
It's like we're on the edge of a whole new era of healthcare, and we need to be careful and thoughtful as we move forward. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways for our listeners? What should they keep in mind when choosing between Samsung Health and Apple Health?
I think it really comes down to your own needs and priorities. If privacy is your biggest concern, Apple Health with its strong data protection might be the better option. But if you want more features, more personalized guidance, and that smart home integration, Samsung Health might be a better fit.
And remember the ecosystem too. Apple Health only works with Apple devices, while Samsung Health works across different platforms.
Right, think about what devices you use and how much integration you want. And don't forget, these platforms are always evolving. They add new features, release updates. The whole digital health landscape is constantly changing.
So stay informed, do your research, and choose the platform that helps you the most on your health journey. And here's a final thought. Imagine a future where all these health platforms can work together, where you can easily move your data between them, giving you total control and flexibility. It's a great goal to work towards. And it starts with making informed decisions and being active in shaping the future of digital health. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and stay well.